Chantel, girl, the family Chantel, y'all. So I was like, okay, I'm finna see if it's any new episodes because I never knew how many seasons they had. Girl, I First of all, I knew something. Like I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say that it's not good or whatever, right? Because I mean, you can meet people anywhere. You see what I'm saying? I mean, your partner, your mate, it could be way across the world, right? You have to be a open and receptive type of person to go through that particular process of the 90 day. And it's not impossible, but you got to know what you're getting into. You know what I'm saying? It's just like meeting somebody where you are. You know, they just live in a different country or whatever, but you can I feel like I'm a good judge of character. Like you can pretty much tell when something me at least, I'd be like, oh no, that ain't about to go right. Mm-mm. Like you can pretty much you could just tell. But I did not know um I did not know that they had four, I guess they had 4 seasons. I'm looking up now, y'all. They had 4 seasons, and I saw the ones I started looking at because I think I saw season 2. I can't remember. But y'all, let me tell y'all something. I was watching it last night, and the episodes I was looking at was when Pedro, he had an interest in looking for his dad. And the information that his mom had told him was kind of like, oh, I was walking home from school one day, and he rolled up in his car or whatever. And it sounds like basically his dad was helping, from what he was told, was helping the family monetarily. If they needed something, he would get it for them. Right. And then a year later, he came back. I forget the circumstances in which I guess he was helping him and then he went away or something. And then a year later he came back and saw his mom again and was like, like, what's up? And she like, who are you? And he like, oh, remember I gave you a ride last year or whatever. She like, oh, okay. Baby, Pedro mama something else. And so they started talking, getting into a relationship. She ended up having Pedro. Then she found out the man was married and had kids. And she said he did not tell her that, and but probably by that time she had a child with him. She probably loved him by this, you know what I mean, fell for the man or whatever. She ended up getting pregnant again and had another, had the sister Nicole. And so then after that, the dad, since he had a family or whatever already, he was married, he had other kids and stuff. She was kind of tired of him going back and forth. Sometimes she would see him, sometimes she wouldn't. He wouldn't come see the kids, or whatever happened. And she told him basically to get out of her life. Like, I'm not about to be dealing with this. That man, this is just what I'm thinking in my head, y'all. That man might have told her that he was gonna leave his wife and all this stuff, and she was believing him. She even had 2 kids by him. So anyway, so she hadn't seen him ever again. So now these 2 kids she got, they growing up, they struggling, you know what I'm saying? She trying to make ends meet and stuff like that. And now they're grown, especially Pedro. His sister, not so much, because his sister, she has suppressed, and this is my opinion, she has suppressed how she feels about her dad. She has suppressed how she feels about her dad, and has tried to accept basically that he wasn't in her life, and that he basically didn't, she feels like he didn't want to be bothered with us. Like, I don't got no feelings for him. I'm not going to give him that power of feeling a type of way when he don't feel a type of way about me. And so, but Pedro, longing he is longing for that. He wants to know who his dad is. He wants to know who he looks like, who where his mannerisms are from. I mean, he was named after the man. And he's like, I've never seen him. And that's really weird. Now the mom says that the dad will come over and stuff, but but according to Pedro, she was seeing him to the kids to their room, and they wouldn't see him. And the mom was telling them it was because he didn't want to see y'all. So she was in the room. So then the question becomes, why did you let the man in your house? I mean, you had already told him that you didn't want to be with him no more, to leave you alone, and this, and that. And he agreed because he left. But every so often looked like he was coming back. And so you let him in the house. You let him in the house and didn't require him to see those children. I couldn't have did that. That's a different type of level. I probably couldn't have did that. And so now the mom, she doesn't understand why her children, because even though Nicole don't want to have anything to do with trying to find a dad and stuff like that, she's still hurt, by not growing up with a dad, in the house and stuff. So when her and Pedro talk about it, both of them become upset, and the mom looking at them like, she told them one day, y'all, I was like, this mama is no joke, baby. She told them one day, oh, y'all emotional today. She said, why y'all so emotional? And she's like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. That's in the past. Why you keep bringing up the past? Okay, yeah, that's the way you feel about their dad is one way, but they want to know who their daddy is, lady. Like, you won't get the kids no answers. You act like you don't know where the man is, who the man was, what he said, what he did. She wouldn't tell them nothing. Not until they got to their grandma's house, and the grandma was like, well, yeah, told them the whole story or whatever. And so Pedro like, well, so did you love him or not? And she like, no. The mama cut though, y'all. She like, no, I didn't love him. And he was like, okay, but you had 2 kids by him. She like, yeah. Baby, his mama is not playing. Like, this is how, and you know what I said? At least the mom is being honest about her feelings. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, and believe me, I'm not saying that anybody should lie to their children. You shouldn't lie to your children, but sometimes you have to, it's a balance being a parent. You got to decipher whether this is going to be, is it going to help them or hinder them? Because a man is not in their lives anyway. You know what I'm saying? And he asked his mom, were him and his sister a mistake? And she was like, yeah. My heart broke for him. I'm like, how do you tell your children that? How do you say that? It sounds like what Pedro is gathering is that, okay, my dad came around, he was helping them monetarily, so that's why they kept him around. So he like, oh, they were using him, and now since I was raised by them, they have basically raised me to take advantage of people. So now remember, go back to the first season or whatever, second season, when Chantel's family was trying to tell her, hey, his mom and sister want him to get to America by any means necessary. Because maybe, and I remember her mom saying specifically, maybe they're trying to get money to try to fund some type of business that they're trying to build, and they need the American dollar to do so, things like that. And he was like, of course, he's like, no, that's my mom. Don't talk about my mom. Don't talk about my sister. They've been there for me. My mom raised me on her own. She's not like that. So now he's starting to think, and he putting the pieces together like, okay, but if y'all was using my dad for money because, y'all didn't have much and he was willing to give, and she was willing to have kids to get, right? Then that's how y'all raised me. So maybe subconsciously I'm using Chantel. Like, even though that wasn't his intention, That's what he's doing. Because see, now you get into the part where they've gotten a little bit more stable. They done bought a house and everything, and now he's starting to pull back from Chantel a little bit. He didn't become a real estate agent. He's getting, comfortable with the people in his office. They all speak Spanish, and things like that. He feels a little bit more closer to his community and all of this, and he's doing well in his job. He's making friends, and he's staying outside the house a little bit more, right? So Pedro's starting to feel himself a little bit. He getting a little bit more comfortable in America now, right? And I couldn't believe that his mom said to him that they were a mistake. Like they were, and she told him, she was like, y'all should be lucky that y'all were born. I said, wow. Wow. But I mean, at least the mom was honest. But like I said, it's so interesting to see that Nicole, she's hurt by it, but she's not willing to give the dad that power of being upset, because she feels like he doesn't feel anything for me. He's never came back to see how I was doing, how I was to my graduation or anything like that. So I'm not going to feel anything for him. I'm not going to give him even that, because he didn't give me anything. But Pedro is really hurting him. And he's a young black guy and things like that. And he did find his two half brothers. They live in the same city as his mom. And so he asked the brothers, well, how did y'all find out that we were, here or whatever? And the half brother, by the way, has the same name as Pedro, same exact name. He's a junior as well. He said that his dad, when he was like in his middle 20s, his dad was like, organized some papers for me for the business or whatever. And he said he found some papers that were torn up. And and he was like, oh, maybe this is important. Let me look through this. Let me try to piece it back together. And it was a letter, he said, from his mom, from Pedro's mom, saying, why don't you come see the kids? You don't come see your children and things like that, right? And so this son took it to his mama and said, Mama, I think you need to see this. And so his mom saw it, and of course she got upset and things like that. And so Pedro, he was like, because he was under the impression that his mom told the dad to leave and don't come back, and that's what happened, and she didn't, like, it was on her. So he was like, oh, I feel better, because now I know at least my mom was reaching out to him, letting him know, hey, you need to be a dad, you need to be a father, and stuff like this. And okay, and yeah, you need to be a father and things like this. And so he went back to his mom, was like, I need to apologize to my mom. She did try, blah, blah, blah. And so when he told his mom about this letter that the half brother found, the mama said, I don't know who. The mama said, I don't know who that was, because I ain't never wrote him no letter. Y'all, I was hollering. She said, I never wrote him no letter. So she said the last time I saw him was 2010, and he gave me 5,000 pesos, and I ain't seen him since, because well, you gone. And she said, I ain't never wrote no letter. And so baby Pedro got mad immediately. He like, wait, you lying, this. Hey. But see, too, you got to keep in mind, because Pedro was telling his mom, his grandma and stuff, like, y'all using me. He was mad, y'all. Y'all got to go back and look at it. He like, y'all was using men, like, for money. Like, what is this? And now my sister, she with a married dude. Like, y'all ain't right or whatever. So the grandma said, the grandma said, love is crazy. She said, ain't no man with one woman. And so they was trying him, like, this is the mom was like, this is our culture, this is how we are where we live, like this is what it is. And so Chantel is not allowing you to be you as a man, because this is what men do. That's the type of mind frame that they have. And he's like, no, I'm with one woman, that's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? They like, whatever, think what you want, but this is how we this is how we do it in the DR, okay? And so the mom told him, she was like, I never wrote your dad any letter telling him to come see his kids or anything like that. So then Pedro called the half brother and was like, can you tell me, like, was my name on the letter? Was my mom's name or my sister's name on the letter? And y'all, the half brother was like, no, there wasn't no names on there. He said, so Pedro said, I need you to get me the letter as soon as possible. He said, no, I'm not going to be able to do that, because remember, I gave it to my mom. And baby, she was so mad, she probably burned that letter. So Pedro said, yeah, I understand. She probably did. She probably did. So now the question for me becomes, did the dad have other kids besides Pedro and Nicole? Because if the mama said she didn't write him no letter, I mean, she could be lying, could not, but it looked like to me the mom just being honest with herself and being honest with her kids, because she didn't told them so up to this time, like, you guys should have been lucky you were born. No, I did not love your dad. Yes, he was helping us monetarily when we needed things. He was there. If I needed something, I asked him, he get it. Um, I had a one child with him, didn't know he was married. Then the second child came. I knew he was married. It is what it is. I said, okay, you're not gonna be with me. Go ahead and go with your family or whatever, right? So she being honest up until this point, I don't know why she would lie about her sending a letter. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, I was like, well, the question becomes, did he have even more children besides the children with the wife and the children with Pedro's mom? Because the half brother said there was no name on there, no kids' names were on there. The daddy was a Rolling Stone. I said, this is something. This is something. That show is interesting. It's interesting because you get to see a lot of family dynamics. And the caveat is that it's a scripted show, right? Or no? It's like a reality type show. So, you're going to get probably set up scenes and things like that, but you can kind of see how, like, these things do happen in families. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, that was so interesting. Even though, like, parents, you learn this, I think, as you get older. When you become an adult, the older you get, the more you understand. You don't understand as a child, right? But the more you get older, the more you understand that your parents, you as a child, you feel like every decision that they make is because it's for the kids. Everything that they do is for the kids. But parents don't make all decisions. Their decisions are not based around their kids. A lot of times it's based around themselves and what they want and what they feel and what they, you know what I mean? So you have to always kind of take that into account. And I also think that it's a learning lesson, right, for parents, that even though you may not have felt anything for the dad and things fell apart with the dad or whatever, and even though he wasn't around, you still have to understand how it would hurt your children when they get older that their dad was never around, especially if they find out that he had a whole family of sons. Because I don't think he had any other girls, not with the wife. Now, like I say, he might have had some other kids based on that letter, or, I don't know. But that he had another family in the same city that he was with, because the half brother said that their dad was there practically almost every day, unless he said, oh, I'm going out for business for a week, or he will leave for a couple weeks. And apparently that's what was when he was with Pedro and Nicole's mom, right? Allegedly, we don't know, but they said he would leave sometimes. But what they remember is that they had a dad that was present. And so you can imagine and have to understand that that will hurt your children, right? To know that and to feel that their dad didn't want to have anything to do with them, because that's their part of their identity. That's their family, right? And this and Pedro is named after the dad. So it's like I'm named after somebody I've never even seen. Like, I don't know anything about his side of the family. I don't know what he's like, what he looks like, or anything like that. And then he called the dad, and the dad didn't even answer the phone, y'all. Like, that was a sad, that was sad to see. But you kind of see how you can see how in this particular story how it could affect someone not having their dad in their lives and not understanding, always having those questions of why they weren't there, trying to get answers and things like that, how it affects their lives fully. You know what I'm saying? How it affects their lives in every type of way, how it affects their relationships with their spouse, their mom, their sister, their extended family, immediate family, how it affects that. And now it seems as if during that particular part, as if Pedro has kind of leaned on Chantel's family, because even though Chantel's family has, their challenges and issues and stuff like that with each other, which every family does, they appear to be a close-knit family. Like if something go down, they're gonna be like this. You know what I'm saying? They always want to come together when they need to, right? And families go through things. Families have challenges. Families bicker. Families argue, fight, fuss, or whatever. And then, but again, that's to me, that's how it's supposed to be. Like that's my family. If I need them, no matter what, even though we are bickering, we might be going through a challenge. They always going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So. It seems like they have this type of family, and so he's kind of leaned on them for that. And Chantel's mom, she was kind of standing in for his mom at that particular moment because he needed a hug. He needed someone to console him, a mother figure, and his mom just wasn't willing to do it. And she did it for him, like don't say nothing, just let me hug you, being in that mother role. So, y'all, that's an interesting show to see when you talk about family dynamics and things like that. Let me know what y'all think. Or again, that you like, comment, and subscribe. For those who subscribe already, thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.